posted?
Yes.
It was, okay. First on the agenda.
Commission will now take up the matter of applications for special one-day license to sell, dispense alcoholic beverages with the malt beverage and wine only, or either one. Richard S. Barrett, from Monday, March 17, 2007, from 2 p.m. to 12 midnight. The event is the St. Patrick's Day, to be held in a tent-enclosed area at the parking lot adjacent to Kilkenny Pub at 660 Roger Street. Keomani La Campagne, for Saturday, April 5th, 2008, from 5 p.m. to 12 midnight. The event is the Lao New Year, sponsored by the Temple on Bernier Street, to be held at the Hellenic Cultural Center at 41 Broadway. William Moreau, for Friday, May 30th, 2008, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The event is a fundraiser for the Lowell Canal Waters Cleaners at the Revolving Museum at 22 Shattuck Street. This licensee had been approved for an event that was scheduled for May 16th, but the site is not available, so it's been rescheduled. Jeffrey Prescott of the Merrimack Repertory Theater for theatrical performances at the Liberty Hall, 50 East Merrimack Street, 1/2 hour prior to and during 2 10-minute intermissions for the following dates: March 13th through March 30th, and April 2nd through April 6th, and also included is an April 1 date for a private function. In total, there'll be 20 dates for the MRT. Last is the all-alcoholic license application by Luann Haggerty of the St. Michael's Parish for Saturday, May 3rd, 2008, from 5:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. The event is an auction to benefit St. Michael Parish, to be held at St. Michael's Church Hall on 6th Street.
Is Luann here? Oh, if you come up also, please, Luann. Okay, just for the record, if you just step up to the mic, state your name and... Okay,
Let's kill money.
okay.
William Moreau.
Yep, okay,
Jeffrey Prescott.
okay,
Louise Haggerty.
okay. How many of you been before us before? Okay. Those of you that have not been before us, you will have to, the ones that have not will have to sustain the speech. Okay? It's important that you understand that this is your license. Jeffrey, this license going to be in your name? Okay, you understand that people go to the theater, they might go out to eat before, they might go have a few drinks. They get to the theater, they go downstairs, they got a 10-minute intermission, they're going to pop down a couple of beers or a couple of wines. You know what? If they get in trouble, that's the last place they drank. Okay? So you have to have people that are down there that are responsible, that you know what they're doing, because they're representing you. They are not representing the Merrimack Theater. They're representing you, because this is your license, and unfortunately, if something should happen, you're the one that they're going to be looking at, not the theater. Okay, Luann, this license is going to be in your name. Okay? There's a wild and crazy bunch over there at St. Michael's. You got a priest over there that you got to watch out for. He's a Navy SEAL, and I've had dealings with him. And you got to be careful of those guys, let me tell you. So, you know, this is going to be in your name. All right? So if you have people there helping you at the bar, you got to make sure they're conscientious, that they know. You know, today we look for excuses. We have people, they'll go into a restaurant, they go into a bar, oh, my daughter's 19, I'll buy her a sombrero. And they buy them a sombrero and they think it's cute, and hold it, and somebody falls down the stairs. I've yet to have any one of them ever stand up and say, you know what, I did it. I bought him the sombrero. The bartender didn't know. It was me. I bought it and I gave it to him, and it's my fault they got hurt. Oh, no. No, it's Luann's fault. It's your fault, because you know what? You enabled me to buy that drink and to give it to him. And so we don't say these things to scare you, but we do say them to make you realize the responsibility you're taking on. A lot of times people think, well, I'm raising money for the theater, I'm raising money for the church, I'm raising money for the revolving museum. They're all wonderful events. It's unfortunate we live in a time of litigation. Everybody wants somebody else to take care of them. Everybody, even today with people with their children, they don't want to accept responsibility. They want to have kids, but I'm not responsible for them. It's the policeman's fault. It's the teacher's fault that they're no good. So you have to be aware of that attitude, because litigation today is the single biggest item involved with bar rooms and alcohol licenses, etc. So we ask you, do you have any questions at all? You have any questions that you'd like to ask? We're not here to hurt you, we're not here to scare you, we're here to work with you. You should have a policeman on duty. The moment you take over, the moment you open that bar, what I would do before I even, started serving, I'd find out what the policeman's name was and exactly where he was going to be, so that if in any situation should arise, you'd know exactly how to get a hold of him, where he would be, to come over and resolve the issue right away, so that there's no problems, okay? Do you have any words of wisdom, Captain Demora?
No, I always caution the underage drinking, to be very cautious about making sure the bartenders, when they hand somebody a drink, it's the person that's going to consume that drink. That's about the most important thing that we see all the time. Somebody will come up and get a drink and give it to somebody else, and just be cautious of that. Thank you.
Do you have any words of wisdom?
Nope, just be careful and make sure that, remember that it's your name on that license, so make sure that you have complete control of what's going on that day.
All right, I have no words of wisdom, so I'll go ahead and make the motion to grant the licenses as recited.
And seconded.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Hope you make $1 million. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, on the matter of William Moreau,
Yes.
where the commission had granted a beer and wine license for the event to be scheduled May 16th on February 7th, proceed maybe to cancel that license for the fact that it's not going to be issued.
Sure. Motion to cancel.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next on the agenda.
Commission will now take up the application for a special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment, Richard S. Barrett of Kilkenny Pub, 660 Roger Street, from Monday, March 17, 2007, from 2 p.m. to 12 midnight. The event is St. Patrick's Day. It's a disc jockey at Kilkenny Pub with sound system, possibly to include the tent area at the parking lot adjacent to Kilkenny Pub.
Introduce yourself.
Richard Barrett from Kilkenny Pub.
Richard, you gonna have somebody out there for, traffic on the street?
Yes.
You're gonna arrange for a policeman for people crossing there and whatnot?
Yeah, I called
Now, you
them.
say it's gonna possibly include the tent. Are you saying you're gonna have the
I'm
music?
gonna have, the DJ's gonna be inside, and, some years he puts the speaker out the door into the tent, some years he just leaves it inside.
So
they'll be on
you're
the
not
safe
telling
side.
me you're gonna make sure it's loud enough that everybody outside can hear it?
Yes.
You're gonna have a speaker out there and maintain some level of sanity?
Yes,
You have neighbors.
yep,
You're aware of that.
yeah, yes,
They all live right around. You got homes across on the other side there, across the street. You got neighbors. You gotta take them into consideration. We don't wanna set decimal levels and all the rest of that. Now, common sense dictates.
Okay.
It's St. Patrick's Day and I got a right to make noise. But your neighbors,
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
but your neighbors have a right to live,
I understand,
okay?
yes,
So, we don't wanna see you back here for any other reason.
okay,
Okay, understood?
yes,
All right.
okay, thanks a lot.
We have a motion?
Hold on, you should wait for us to vote it.
Yeah,
I'll
you
make
gotta-
the motion to go ahead and grant it.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
right,
you're all set. Next on the agenda.
Commission will now take up application for public amusement for events scheduled at the Songus Arena. Robert Fode is the arena representative. A concert, Live Nation is the promoter for Dropkick Murphys. For Saturday, March 15th, 1:30 PM to 5:30 PM. There is a second concert. Promoter is Live Nation. Promoter is Dropkick Murphys, also for Saturday evening from 7:30 PM to 11:30 PM. And thirdly is the Mass Concert presents John Peters promoted Taste of Chaos. That's a rock concert for Friday, March 21st, 2008, 6 PM to 11:30 PM.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Robert Fode from the Song Arena.
Okay. You've had a pretty good run there at the auditorium. I mean, at the arena.
Yeah.
God forbid. Excuse me, Father.
Yeah,
The Songus Arena.
They
You've had a pretty good run of,
Yeah.
anybody see anything here? I don't even know these groups, so,
I've actually,
you know, they could be,
I'm going on the record, I actually have tickets to Saturday night, so.
Oh.
I'm glad that it got moved over to the arena so that there were more tickets available, so,
Saturday
since I
night.
got boxed out the first
We were
time.
hoping for that.
Jonathan Papelbon's song.
oh, wow. Jonathan Papelbon.
It's a good one.
Wow. From a guy that don't watch television.
Commissioner,
Nothing wrong with that. Yes.
from our side of the house, this has been we've been talking with the arena for the last 3 weeks in regarding these concerts. We have ample amount of officers there. It's somewhat of a mosh pit group. We anticipate a large crowd in both events, that's all. So we have enough officers.
That's where you throw people in the thing?
Well, they throw themselves. We don't throw them, but they throw themselves.
The only question I have, I saw in the newspaper yesterday that there's gonna be shuttles going from the arena to the Gallagher terminal
Yeah.
at like 11:15. So why is the license need to go to 11:30?
Well, I just did it, in case if any time changes or anything like that. Other than that, it's expected to get done by 10:30, I believe.
The update I got was that the MBTA had an extra line running, or an extra
Yes.
train running at that hour to bring
Yeah,
people back
because
into
I think the
Boston.
last train is at 11:15,
Okay.
or
Get that
thereabouts.
many, that kind of people coming?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
They were expecting quite a few from Boston.
They're
Probably
expecting the
Southbridge.
trains to be full.
Really?
Yeah. They don't drive, though. The kids aren't driving, which is a good thing. So, come in and enjoy themselves.
They might be coming from Southie for all I know.
Okay, so you guys got this all worked out. I presume this is, don't tell me you got tickets.
I was just thinking of you and Barry Manilow.
Now that's my speed.
I thought it was Kenny Rogers.
I can go for that too. That's all right. All right, see, and I'm gonna show you, I'm a very, I'm gonna understand, I'll make the motion to approve.
Seconded.
Now, motion made and seconded, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. Next on the agenda, hook slide.
Taste of chaos.
Commission will now take up the application by Pepper Dining, Inc., doing business as Chili's, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 24 Reese Avenue, for change of manager from Janine Mason to Ronald Scott Burrows of Amherst, New Hampshire. Mr. Burrows? Mr. Burrows is not with us right now.
Why did you skip this one?
I'm sorry.
Mike Keller.
Sorry about that.
I was gonna say, wait a minute, I didn't even get the right agenda. Give me a break, I might not know that,
I'm gonna hear of it later, I'm sure. The appearance of Michael J. Callery of Hookslide Kelly's LLC, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 19 Merrimack Street. Request to open at 5 a.m. Tuesday, March 25th, 2008, for service of breakfast and non-alcoholic beverages, a promotion in conjunction with the Lowell Spinners.
Introduce yourself, please.
Mike Callery.
Just tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
this, Mike. What's,
Just to give you a little history, the Spinners, we sponsor with the Spinners, and they contacted me about 3 weeks ago. And the Red Sox are opening in Japan, 6 a.m. start, and they wanted to know if we were interested in doing a breakfast. It comes down to a fundraiser for the Weber Foundation. They're going to be raffling off Red Sox tickets to their home opener. On their end, they're supplying 100 Papelbon bobblehead dolls. We're supplying 100 breakfast sandwiches to the first 100 people who come in, and coffee. There'll be no alcoholic beverages. It's merely a breakfast. And the game starts at 6, so I wanted to get the crowd in there to buy the raffle tickets for the Weber Foundation. So that's the reason I put 5 a.m. It has nothing to do with alcoholic beverages whatsoever.
You gonna have the game on your TV?
Yes, and because we have all the TVs, they thought it was
Yeah.
an appropriate place. Some people have been talking about it. A lot of people are gonna stop by, get their raffle tickets on their way to work, have a breakfast sandwich, watch a few innings of the game before they go to work. That's, in a nutshell, what we're looking at.
So then, when do you, when will you start serving beer and,
Well, according to the license, 8 a.m.
oh, okay, all right.
So
all
it
right.
might be like a countdown on New Year's
So like
Eve or
it's,
something.
you'd be like a kind of carryover,
Pardon me?
kind of like a carryover.
Right, for those who are remaining,
but-
third shift people, that kind of thing. There won't even be a bartender behind the
I think it's a great
sticks. I'll be there.
Oh.
I'll probably stay there from the night before just to open the doors, but that's pretty much what it is.
Is it within our authority to vote on that? For opening times? Council? To be honest, I don't know.
Is it within our authority to do that, to grant them that?
Well, here's the situation. Here's the business, like all of our bars and restaurants, have a license for common victular. And under that license, a licensee without alcohol beverages could theoretically be open 24/7. There's no restriction on hours for a common victular licensee, unless the licensing board was to set such restrictions. For the fact that the licensee, Hooks Like Kelly, has an all-alcoholic beverage restaurant license, it would be against the norm. It wouldn't be the norm for a business of this type to be opening before the legal time of 8 a.m., which is, by state law, would allow for sale and service of alcohol beverages. So Mr. Calery is only seeking is to, as a promotion, which you're gonna see probably, if not already, advertisement and a raffle that's being in conjunction with the promotion. The business will be open as early as 5 in the morning for public. You can not approve that if you wish, but it's a consensus would be that it would be as long as there's no sale or service of alcohol before the legal hour. And as long as our Lowell
Police
police.
department or whatever?
No, I appreciate Mr. Calery coming, though, to tell us. I mean,
Yeah.
because when I looked at it, I said, I don't know if there's any issues here, but the good thing is we don't want all the night, the bar rooms in Lowell to stay open all night either.
No,
And
no.
have to police them because they sell, but it's
Yeah,
a
so
great gesture.
the hours, like, for example, the business, depending on how late the business is open, but the morning of March 25th at 2 a.m., his business is closed.
Right.
And all patrons have to be off the premises.
Right.
It's, the resumption of business for the next day generally wouldn't be before 8 in the morning, so.
Okay, but you're gonna close at 2 o'clock?
That's
And then
correct.
open at 5?
Right.
Okay. Myself, you're not making a lot of noise, you're not gonna, have a marching band or anything like that. I mean, okay, I don't see any, I don't see any problem. I think it's a great idea.
I'll make a motion to approve the
Correct. I think as long as you're
application.
acting like the victular, yeah, or victular. Can never pronounce that
Common
word.
victular.
That's the word.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor say yes.
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 Yes,
Thank you.
good idea.
See you at the
Anything like-
ballgame.
Great idea. Next on the agenda, what was it, Chili's?
Would Mr. Burrows be here?
Anyone
Need a
from
no
Chili's?
show. Anybody from Chili's here? No, okay.
All right.
No show. Yes, yep. Okay. Didn't we get any letters? Okay. This is the old. Yeah, this sub shop, yeah. Okay.
Commission will now open the hearing on the application by the Gemini Financial Group LLC, doing business as Bad Dogs. James Edward Kirsty is the manager, for a malt beverages and wine restaurant license for premises at 72 Merrimack Street. one unnumbered door on the south side, one dining room on first floor, the kitchen, service and storage area, and an office. It is requested that James Edward Kirsty be approved as the manager of record for the Gemini Financial Group LLC, and the financial group is also applying for a minor license for a common vittler.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Caleb Pan, attorney for the Kirsties.
James Kirsty. Eric Kirsty.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little bit about it.
Maybe I could give you some background. It's a new upcoming franchise that's originated in New Hampshire. It's serving gourmet hot dogs. Maybe you guys could.
It's a gourmet hot dog franchise that started in southern New Hampshire. It's soup, salads, baked potatoes, and just 40 different types of hot dogs. Pretty much
Okay.
basically what it is.
Now, you bought a franchise, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's get the public portion of the hearing over with. Let's start with anybody to speak in opposition. In opposition, anybody to speak in opposition? That portion of the hearing's closed. Anybody to speak in favor? In favor? In favor. That portion of the hearing's closed. Okay, the public hearing is now closed. I took a ride by it, and we have your cards, and the school been notified, and we have the green cards back. And, yeah, I think it's a great idea. I got a couple of concerns. There's a high school in downtown Lowell. I'm more directing my question to the two gentlemen. Have you been in that type of business before? Do you have other franchises, or tell me a little bit?
I've been in the bar business for a while, for over 10 years.
Where?
I've worked at Pub 30, Deb's Lakeview Lounge, Whiskey Park in Boston, the Village Green in Danvers. I've been a bartender for over 10 years.
Okay, you ever taken a tips course?
Yes, I'm tip certified.
Okay,
I just renewed the other day, too.
good.
Yep.
If I could,
Okay.
I have just letters of certification that Mr. Kirsty has finished a safe serve with the New England Bartending School.
Okay. That's all right, we
Okay.
take, do you want it?
Well, I'll take your representation. That's,
Bring it up.
no, I mean, I don't see.
No, I'm sorry, okay. So, one for you. Okay. So anyways, we have a high school in downtown Lowell, and, they're right, I think it's when I first read your application, I think it's a great idea. I gotta tell you, I think it's a great idea, and I think that it probably should take off, okay? And then, to take the good, the bad, and the ugly, you had a Burger King right across the street that died.
Yeah.
And who ever heard of a Burger King ever going out of business? I mean, totally unbelievable, okay?
That happened.
But you got a Dunkin' Donuts on the corner that had to take out all the chairs and tables
Yep.
that I'm sure you're aware of,
Yeah.
okay? And that's caused by one reason, and one reason only. And that is because we have a high school in the downtown area. Okay? So, you're gonna have to be ever so vigilant with that operation.
Yep.
We would, looking at it and saying, if you got a hot dog stand, why do you need a beer and wine license? But it's not a hot dog stand, it's kind of like the step up from the hot dog stand. And again, I want to say, in my opinion, for whatever, I own a funeral home, so what the heck do I know, but I think, I get a lot of people as a result of eating a lot of hot dogs, It's kind of like an occupational hazard, but we won't put any advertisement in your building,
thank you.
okay?
That's fine.
But the point being that, I just want to impart to you that part of the problem.
Yep.
Okay, the problem is that if one high school, one senior, one student can get in your building and have a hot dog and a beer, I am going to guarantee to you, your business is going to take off, because every single student at Lowell High School will know exactly who was on duty, what time of day, what the person was wearing, what they ordered, exactly how they got that beer and they got by you.
Yep.
And I say that not to scare you, but in one way I hope I do, but not really to scare you, but to make you aware of the problems. You have to understand that alcohol use is much like being in prison. When you're in prison, you have nothing to worry about but how to escape. When you can't get your hands on a beer, you have nothing to worry about but trying to figure out a way to fool the system. Okay? And I want you to be aware of that, because there are technology and, kids out there with computers that can do things that are unbelievable. Okay? So, I myself personally, I'm going to say right up front, I'm in favor of it. I'm going to pass this off to the other commissioners. I just want to impart that one, part. You're making an investment in our community. I think it's tremendous. I want to see people come into Lowell. I want to see people make an investment in the community. I'm sure my grandson's going to love your place. He thinks Hook Slide Kelly's the greatest, so now I take him for gourmet hot dogs. It's got to be the best, And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make downtown go.
Yeah.
Okay? So, Commissioner.
I think it's great that you're making an investment in the city, but I don't see why you need a beer and wine license. It appears to me that, it's a hot dog stand. People aren't going to be going there for dinner. We already have Hookside Kelly's and other bar rooms in the downtown. And I guess I would like to know why you need the beer and wine license for a hot dog / little cafe restaurant, especially like Chairman said, with the high school downtown and kids coming in and out. I just think you're opening yourself up to a lot of problems. And why do you need the beer and wine license?
Well, it's just basically we're not going to be doing any wine, just draft beer. I mean, who doesn't like a beer and a hot dog? I mean, basically, that's all we want, just to serve to the public. I mean, we'll be very careful about who we serve it to, but I just think it's a good combination to have a hot dog and a draft beer.
And it is, it's more than just a hot dog. It's a full meal with all the trimmings, so that with the soup and stuff. You guys have
Soup,
salad?
salads, baked potatoes.
So it's more of a. I'm not sure if it would be a sit-down place, but
It is. It's a gourmet hot dog. There's 40 different types of hot dogs.
There's going to be a big screen television
TVs.
as well.
How many tables and chairs are you going to have in the restaurant?
Oh, it's probably 20 tables.
About 20 tables. It
Right,
seats
I know
about
that.
65 people, 70 people.
Okay. I mean, and are you aiming more towards the lunch crowd or the dinner crowd?
Both, actually. Yep.
All right, well, I don't see why you need the beer and wine license, so I'm not going to be in favor of granting you the license.
Okay.
All right, you're gonna be going, you said lunch crowd, dinner crowd?
Yes.
All right, tell me more about the meals type stuff.
What
I
would
mean,
you like to know again?
I know you're talking baked potatoes. Is this a counter? Is this waiters, waitresses? How is it?
It's basically just a service counter. You walk up to the counter, you can order whatever it is that you want. You can have the baked potato, the salads, there's a couple different salads, there's a bunch of soups. You can grab the food and you sit down at the table, you can eat, you can watch TV. There's gonna be a couple plazas in there, free wireless internet. So there's a little bit to do in the restaurant itself. So it's basically gonna cater to all whoever's hungry during the whole day. If the parents wanna come in and bring their kids for a hot dog and they wanna sit down and have a beer with their hot dog, I mean, that's pretty much what we're going for. We just think it's a nice combination.
I mean, so are you representing then that, the sale of alcohol is not gonna be the primary source of your
No,
business?
no, it is not, no.
It's gonna be a complement to the business as
Yes.
opposed to? Okay,
Anything else?
nothing else?
Maybe I started it out in referring to it as a high. I read your proposal, and I understand it's going to be like an upscaled, I shouldn't call it a hot dog stand, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is. It is. And boy, I would have thought like if you had been open during the Golden Gloves and stuff like that, that would be, I agree with the commissioner, you're opening yourself up to, and we say this all the time to people, when you're getting that liquor license, when you're getting that beer and wine license, you're just putting yourself in the lion's den.
Yeah.
When you can get into enough trouble today serving food and whatnot, but boy, when you take that step over the side and you decide, now I'm gonna start serving beer or wine or, any kind of alcoholic beverage, you are putting yourself in the lion's den. But that being said, you're the businessman.
Yep.
It's your investment.
Yep.
Only you know what you're liable for. Only you know what you're putting up at risk. I'm going to make the motion to approve a license and give you a shot at it.
Thank you.
And, I've been to upscale hamburger joints in Boston that served alcohol, so I'll second the motion.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed?
Yes. No.
One opposed.
One opposed.
One opposed. Okay. Guys,
All right.
I can't disagree with my colleague here. It's ever so, sometimes I rant and rave. And they've heard it so many times, they're sick of it. But I know what it's like being in business, and I know what the risks are.
Yep.
Okay, we should have best of luck. I think you got a tremendous idea.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Take care.
you've got enough rope?
Mr. Chairman, how late is the liquor license for? Until?
Well, typically, the hours are not service of the alcohol beverages, not before 8 a.m. in the morning, and not after 2 a.m. the following day. The licensing board has its wherewithal to control the hours of sale and service of alcohol beverages, but cannot control the hours before 11, or after 11 a.m., or before 11 p.m. So
We try to get everybody to have, if you're gonna be open at, you gotta remember, you're in a downtown area, you got at night, you've got elderly people that are in the downtown, you got condos that people have spent a lot of money for.
Yep.
Okay? If you're gonna pull last call, in the city is 1:30.
Yep.
You have to understand that Lowell is a 2 o'clock closing.
Yep.
Many of the surrounding towns are 1 o'clock.
It's already flat.
You would be amazed at the number of drunks that get in the car and they're gonna shoot into Lowell, grab a couple of last beers.
Yep.
If you allow that to happen, you have to understand that when that accident happens, the judge is going to say, where did you drink last?
Yeah.
He doesn't care that you spent $40 earlier in the evening at some joint in Bill Ricker or Tewksbury. They don't care. Who was the last one? Recently, they had a seminar. They suggested that you keep a log. They suggest that, after 1 o'clock, you don't serve anybody that hasn't been in there. Now, a hot dog is a short meal. So somebody says, and this is one of the things you're gonna have to think about. It's kind of like, let's go grab some Chinese food. It's the end of the night.
Yeah.
Or somebody say, hey, let's go for a couple of hot dogs and a beer. Well, they've been out drinking all night.
Yep.
Now they're coming into your place because they're gonna get a couple of hot dogs. That's gonna sober them up. So they'll be able to drive home. It doesn't happen. Let's go over to the Owl Diner and have a few coffees. All you got is a wide awake drunk.
Yeah.
Okay? So you guys have to make some very serious decisions about that. Somebody coming into your place at 1 o'clock in the morning for a couple of, oh, give me a beer. I don't know. I can't tell you the answer to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Yep.
But you gotta remember that we close at 2. They close at 1.
Yep.
For the sake of a sale of a beer and a hot dog, you're gonna take all that liability on? I don't know. Okay?
Yep.
So, I would think that their license would run the normal hours, 8 to 2, unless, for some reason, we start to have a lot of problems, and then we're gonna be seeing you,
Yeah, okay,
and we're gonna
We won't
curtail
be.
your hours, and tell you when you can and when you can't.
okay.
I don't think beer and, you know, hot dogs at 8 o'clock in the morning are gonna
I don't think anybody's
be a
doing
biggie.
that, no.
I'd be more concerned about beer and hot dogs at 1 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
okay?
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Good luck.
You like, you ever been to Five Brothers?
Yeah.
Commission will now open the hearing on the application by Buck's Bar and Grill LTD. Mary Beth Bew is the president, for an all-alcoholic beverage restaurant license at 161, 165 Chelmsford Street, an unnumbered door on Ware Street. First floor, one room for restaurant, lounge, storage room, and office, basement for storage. It is requested that Mary Beth Bew be approved as manager of record for Buck's Bar and Grill LTD, following minor license applications filed for the corporation. Common Vittler Entertainment for live music, disc jockey, the jukebox, and automatic amusement device.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
John Hodges, attorney for Buck's Bar and Grill.
Okay,
Mary Beth Bew.
okay. Just tell us, okay, this is the old Gus and Paul's,
That's correct.
right on the corner.
That
Okay,
license was surrendered,
Yep.
I believe, back in December. It wasn't renewed. Mary Beth Bew has come in now. She's negotiated a lease with the present owners who, I believe it's 165 Chelmsford Street Corporation. George Saccarelli and Leo Garcia are the trustees, or the president, vice president, and treasurer of that corporation. She secured a lease for $2,000 a month to rent out those premises, and she's going to operate it basically the same way it was operated in the past.
okay, Mary Beth, would you step up, please? Did you work there when it was Gus and Paul's?
No, sir.
You didn't? Did you have any association with it before, when it was Gus and Paul's?
No.
No, okay. Tell me a little bit about your experience running a bar room.
I've never ran a bar. I've worked in one through 3 owners of the Colonial. I worked at the Sidetrack for a very short time, and I've worked at private parties. Hasn't been for a while, but I believe I can do it.
Are you TIPS trained?
Excuse me?
Are you TIPS trained?
No,
You're not TIPS certified or ever taken any of those courses?
I have not.
Okay. You worked at the Sidetrack?
For a very short time, I can't remember why I didn't continue there, but it was a very short time.
Okay. What other bars have you worked at?
The Colonial.
The Colonial, where was that?
Lawrence Street, Lowell.
The 80s.
That's a long time ago.
It has been, yes.
There had been problems there at the end.
At the Colonial,
Yeah, there was
okay.
serious
All right.
problems.
Okay, good. Well, let's
I was, yeah, you go,
Wanna
do
get-
the public part.
I'm
Keith,
sorry,
No,
get the
I was
public
just-
part out.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get the public part of the hearing out of the way. Anybody here to speak in opposition? In opposition, in opposition? That portion of the hearing's closed. Anybody to speak in favor? In favor, in favor? See, you should have brought all your friends down. They
I
could have stand up. You know, give her the license. She's a hard worker. No, okay. All right, that portion of the hearing's closed. Go ahead, Ron.
Oh, my question was, the, last Monday night, the city of Lowell put on a presentation for people with, alcohol license. I'm just wondering if you attended.
I did not.
You did not, okay,
She probably wouldn't have got
I
an
was just-
invitation where she don't have a license.
okay.
Hopefully, they'll do it again.
I mean, I think the one thing about this Gus and Paul's is, I was there the night before Thanksgiving this year, and I bet the average age was 19 in there. So I know that there's gonna be kids trying to get back in there, so you gotta be really, really aware of that.
Yes, sir.
When, you know, because that's the first place they're gonna go if that's where they were going, you know, less than 6 months ago, when it reopens.
I would suggest to the commission that
If you talk into the mic,
I would suggest,
sorry, yeah.
I'm sorry, I would suggest to the commission that anybody that is working behind the bar will be tips trained, and she may in the future take advantage of that course. But that would be an ultimate requirement of anybody that work behind the bar.
well, it certainly couldn't hurt. We don't require it, but we do strongly suggest it. As I said to the people before you, you know, youngsters today with computers, modern technology being what it is, it's amazing the things they can do. Okay? They don't care. They don't care that if they get bagged in your establishment, that you are going to lose your license, you are going to lose your investment, you're going to be out of work, and they're going to be skip-de-maloo down the road trying to find another place that they can get in. And that's the problem. It's almost a challenge with them. And, you know, what we're saying is that once the first underage person goes in your bar and is served, the first one gets in the door, it spreads like wildfire. It's almost unbelievable how fast the word gets passed around Lowell High and passed around in the various groups. You can get into this bar and get served. You gotta go in there when the blonde lady's working, because she doesn't check IDs. Or if you go in there, go in with two people, you go over here, you go there, you get them, and this is how we did it. And you might, you know, people sit there, and I can see people smiling when I say, but believe me, they do it. Is that a fair statement, Captain? They do it. They plan it out so well, they rehearse it before they go in. This is, you know, because they know you're going to ask certain questions to try to trip them up. You know, the seminar that Brian was referring to, they were talking about just standing there and asking them their age. And it's amazing the number of youngsters that you can trip up just by saying, what's your birth date? Because they're trying to think the date of birth on the ID they gave you. So, you know, I'm going to say this from my heart. I want you to thoroughly understand, you know, you're taking a risk. You're opening this place up. You've signed a lease. Got a big rental payment. The place had some problems. Working in a place is entirely different than owning it. 24/7, around the clock. I was amazed the other day, they were talking about, they have companies, private companies today that you can hire that will actually send people into your bar. They're not police, they're a private company that you can hire that will send people into your bar to test your people, to see if your people are abiding by the rules. You know, I don't say that you should do it, but I do say that, you know, sometimes it looks wonderful. The litigation today is phenomenal. I wish I felt that you had more experience at this. Commissioner.
I'd only caution, if we grant the license, 20 looks a lot like 21, and we've got 2 colleges here in town. Anything that you're doing, if it's a young crowd that's coming there, and I'll accept the representation that it was a pretty young crowd. my
Actually,
fellow
we didn't
commissioner.
think he was old enough to drive. We
Yeah.
checked him when he pulled up.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful. I know the place has had some issues in the past. And I would expect that anybody, I mean, look, again, like the Chairman has said, we don't require anybody to be tip certified, but if there's ever an incident, the first thing I'm going to consider is whether or not the person behind the bar was tip certified. That's like the first thing on my checklist when I'm looking at anything. So I would want anybody, I would highly recommend, I can't require, but I would highly recommend that if you're running an alcohol establishment, that anybody working there, be certified, especially since even if you're not there, you're on the hook for what they do. So, with that, I'll turn it back.
Anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the license.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
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 Thank you very much.
Please don't, please. I say this to you with all sincerity, okay?
Yes, sir.
Call the police department. They're there to help you. We have an ordinance in this which you open. If there's so much as somebody pushes somebody, shoves somebody, you immediately pick up the phone. Pre-program your phone for 911 or for the police department. Please, we don't want to see you back here. I know you are making a substantial investment. A substantial investment. I wish you all the best in the world.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, you may remind Ms. Bew that this matter has to be approved in Boston.
Ms. View? Yes. You realize that this gets sent to Boston for approval? and-
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
No.
Commission will take up the application, the complaints, correct? Am I to understand correct? The complaints? Yeah, okay. Hearings are on the allegations of misconduct as charged by Kenneth LaValle, the Superintendent of Police, dated December 18, 2007, against the following licensees, starting with the first being M&B and Sons Liquors, Inc., Manuel V. Career Manager, formerly Belvedere Wine. This is an all-alcoholic beverage packaged goods store licensee at 36 Concord Street.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
I'm Manny Correa.
Pull a mic down so we can hear you, sir.
I'm
Thank
Manny Correa.
you. Okay? And who's this gentleman?
Joel Medina, employee.
Okay? This was a sting operation?
Yes, all three of them are.
All
The
three
same
are
night.
sting. Okay? Where's your attorney today? Yeah, you appeared before us just the week before with an attorney.
Excuse me?
Didn't you appear before us the week before with an attorney with objecting to the license
Perry Street.
on Perry Street?
No, I think he just spoke
No, I'm
against.
not
No.
Perry
I don't think
Street.
he had an attorney. Right. But he,
Right.
But he came in and spoke against.
But he came in and spoke against it. And the basis for your, if I remember correctly, the basis for your not wanting the Perry Street place to have a license was because you said
Yes,
a
yes.
package store has better controls.
Yes.
And a
That's
week
the
later, you're here.
Things are happening, yeah. So I keep track that some is, yeah, him, so we get that day there when, I'm not there, so it's still for the minors.
Okay, who was there?
I was.
You were the one that served the
Yes.
person?
Yes.
And you didn't ask him for an ID?
The gentleman that came in looked...
Talk into the mic, please.
Sorry, the gentleman that came in looked about 26, 27, and, you know, youngins, when they come in, they usually fumble their money around and have gestures that say that they're a little bit younger. And this guy was pretty confident, and it was a Tuesday night at 10-something in the afternoon. And it was my first night there, and I was worried about, you know, learning a new computer system, and one slipped by me, so.
And the person looked 26 or 27?
Yeah, it was a pretty big husky kid. He had some, you know, a lot of facial hair on him.
Do you have a picture of the individual?
Lieutenant?
Let me ask while we're on this, have you taken an alcohol tips course?
No, sir.
Yeah.
Well, just a point of reference, my license doesn't look like I'm 32 as well, but
Is that the person?
that's the guy, yeah.
And you think he looks 26 or 27?
When he showed up, he did.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, that's just what we're just talking about here. And
Oh, I
mean,
understand that.
That, you know, are you related to the owner? Are you,
No, we're friends.
you're not? Okay. Well, you know, I gotta tell you, he certainly doesn't look 26, 27 to me. I don't know. I'm a Pat Ray.
How long have you been open as M&B
Months.
and Sons?
2 months.
So March?
Oh, you said 2 months.
2 months.
I think, growing up in
stunning me.
growing up in the city my whole life, I know that the location, you know, as much as the Lowell Police do an excellent job enforcing, you know, not having underage purchases of alcohol, that's the #1 place in Lowell where people are gonna go as underage, you know, buyers trying to get alcohol, is because it has a reputation of selling to minors. And you buy the place, and then a month later, it gets nabbed by a kid that is 19 years old, and the picture shows he's 19 years old without asking for ID. I mean, that just doesn't look good. And that's not the kind of foot you want to get off on.
It just amazes me, you stand there, you know, gee, I made a mistake, gee, I'm sorry, nothing. You know, I mean, I don't follow this. You're the first one in all the years that I've sat here that has walked in here and trying to justify what they did.
Right.
I just don't even understand.
well,
I don't know where you're coming from.
There's no excuses for it. I mean, I can't make any
You
excuses.
can bet your life there was no excuse for it. You know, I'm just taking a personal affront here. I mean, most of the guys walk in and it's, gee, I'm sorry, you know, we made a mistake, and you know, the guy looked 27, and you know, I was busy with the computer. You know what? You can't afford to be busy with the computer.
Yeah, I
You were in
understand
charge of that store. You cost this man his livelihood. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
We can close that place down for a while. He'd be sitting home. You think he's going to write you a thank you note?
No.
You bet your life he's not. I don't, you know, we had problems with the place in the past.
I understand that.
You know, but you know, this attitude of, you know, I mean, if they don't look 80 and have a walker, you should be asking for an ID. And anybody that doesn't want to give you one, hey, you know, you don't need to deal with them. The sale is not that important. It's just like the guys with the hot dog stand. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do at 1 o'clock in the morning. Somebody says, hey, let's go for a couple of hot dogs and a beer. They've been out drinking all night at some other bar room or someplace that didn't have, you know, readily have food. So now you want to go get something because you got the munchies. I just don't know where you're coming from. I'm really at a loss here. I'm not gonna, you know, I can't believe you just, you know, you dispute this.
Oh, there's not any dispute. I take full responsibility for my actions. I mean, after the seminar the other day, I mean, things have changed and I've learned a lot from it. It's been 10 years since I've been in the business and times have changed, but things haven't, so that was very informative.
I guess I know what weight to give to the representation you made to this commission earlier, that you have better controls in place because you're a package store than somebody else would have. I guess that representation is now meaningless, because clearly, you know, a week later. And I looked at the guy's photo, and there's no way I would put him at 26 or 27. I'd have a hard time putting him at 19.
What do you want to do? Right. I understand that typically, but this isn't typically. This guy doesn't seem to understand the severity of what, because they did a stink, they do is, you know, it's kind of like getting stopped for speeding. Let me use that as an analogy. You get stopped for speeding, you get mad at the policeman. You get mad at the state trooper. You aren't smart enough to understand that he might have just saved your life. He might have just saved your life by pulling you over and saying, hey, slow down. And if you didn't act like a jerk, many times they give you a warning. But even if he gave you a ticket, a $20 or a $50 ticket, whatever it is, he might have just saved your life. Okay? And you know, when you run a sting, you run a sting to educate people, to try to wake up people. We have said, since the new chief has come to town, there's a new sheriff in town, we are not going to have this. I make a motion that we put him on probation for 6 months.
I'll second that motion.
All right.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
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 Yes. You're on for 6 months. Believe me, they're going to be around again, because we're going to ask them to be around. Okay?
Thank you.
So be ready.
Thank you.
Next. Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah. So J-O-A-O? I'm sorry? J-O-A-O. J-O-A-L. A-O. I'm sorry. O at the end.
J-O-A-L-O.
A-O.
J-O-A-O.
Medina, Medina.
D-I-N-A.
Yep. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Yes. Commission will now take up the complaint,
I'm sorry.
complaint that the superintendent of police filed against Resendez Incorporated, doing business as Train View Pub. John M. Resendez, manager, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 1018 Gorham Street.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is John Hardigan. I'm an attorney here at my office in Lowell. With me this afternoon is John Resendez, who's the principal with Resendez Incorporated, also Paul Maria, who is the manager of the Trainview Inc.
Tell me what happened.
If I may, Mr. Commissioner, I've read the report that was submitted, provided by Mr. Nguyen. We don't have any dispute as to the facts in it. Our intention here is not to explain or justify the conduct. A little background, if I could. I think there's 3 important points that I'd ask the board to consider in its deliberations. Mr. Resendez has been in the business in Lowell for approximately 18 years. He's turned around 2 locations successfully, one dating back to Lawrence Street in the early 1990s, Friends Restaurant. He's also successfully turned around what is now his Market Street location. He had a lengthy litigation with the former owner of the Trainview, Manny Silver. That resulted in his taking occupancy or ownership of it probably summer of 2007. He's made a considerable investment in there, not only to change the clientele that previously serviced the restaurant, but also the physical location of it. I mean, he's done, I don't know if the commission's had an opportunity to get in there, but he's done a great job in turning it around. Second point is that this is not a daily occurrence. I'm aware of this included as 2 occasions where Mr. Resendez or any entity that he's been affiliated with has been in front of the board. Thirdly, just very briefly, there have been prior sting operations or operations by the Special Operations Unit. Mr. Resendez has received letters from the superintendent in June of 2007 where there was an attempt to obtain alcohol from an underage individual, and they were rejected. Also, in December of 2007, in fact, at the Trainview, because he took ownership, he opened it approximately November, right around Thanksgiving, I think, and in November, November or December, the Trainview, the sting operation was placed in there, and again, the superintendent sent a letter to Mr. Resendez Incorporated commending them that the attempts had failed. And most recently, in January, there was another operation at his present location of Friends, and that was also rejected. So this one did get by. As to the factual circumstances, I understand that there is only one bartender at the Trainview presently employed or has been employed since November who is not TIPS or barcode certified. And that unfortunately was the individual that was working there that evening. Mr. Maria, I'm sure if necessary, can provide some of the specifics, but as I understand it, it was more of a scheduling issue where someone had a conflict, the individual came in and was working the shift. And I think Mr. Maria was comfortable in that. I think it was a Tuesday evening, and typically those aren't the busiest nights. This one got by him.
Okay.
I mean, I'll go on the record. I'm familiar with your manager. I know he's got a reputation as, and I mean this in all the best ways, he's got a reputation as a real hard ass. So, and I apologize for my...
Can you say that on mic?
I already did. I apologize for the language for anybody who's offended. So, I mean, you know, I'm not under the impression that this is a recurring type of event. So, I mean...
I drive by there all the time. You've done a good job cleaning it up.
Yeah.
It looks good. It looks like a business to be proud of. As far as I know, we haven't had a lot of problems with it since you took
No, I
over.
think the issue now is, and I know the owner personally, I know he'll do a great job, but he's got to be cognizant of that late-night crew coming from out of town, coming into town on Gorham Street.
Yeah,
And
see, you're on the border.
So,
And you're right on the border. You're right down Gorham Street. And so you get all these people that are, you know, I don't want to cast any aspersions on people from Bill Ricker or get hate mail or anything, but, you know, the people living at that end of town, and they shoot right down, and we can make it because it's straight down the street. You don't have to make a lot of turns, so you don't have to worry about, you know, whether you can drive, you know, right straight down the street. You know, I think this, the purpose of this is a lesson to learn. You know, hopefully whoever the bartender was, somehow or another you have imparted to him the responsibility of what he did, whether it's to get him in a course. Just out of curiosity, did you attend the Monday night session at the Towers?
Sorry, I didn't.
Nobody,
I was at
okay.
work.
You know, hopefully there'll be another one. You know, you know, I commend the chief. You know, I commend Captain Demore. They've got an ongoing, and this is going to be going on again and again. So you have to make sure that your people thoroughly understand. You know, as I said earlier to, I didn't even know there are companies that, you know, I don't know what they charge or anything like that, but there are companies that you can actually hire people, this guy, and he sends people that are trained into your barroom to sit there and have a drink and watch what's going on and to report back to you and let you know what's going on. I think it's a great idea. I don't know if it's an expensive proposition or not, and I'm not here, you know, to promote it or anything, but I do think it's a wonderful idea that somebody that can, that you know, is knowledgeable in all the laws can kind of every once in a while walk in an impartial way and look at it and say to you, hey, you know, you ought to watch this or watch that, because if you get a police officer or the ABC in here, you could have a problem with it. So, I mean, I just throw that out. I'm sure that Captain Demore could tell you how to reach the people or whoever the guy was, but I found that very interesting that today, you know, there are people that that are professionally trained to do that type of thing. Brian?
Oh, I mean, I think you definitely fixed up the place, and it looks great. And when you, like the chairman said, you just got to be careful because it's right on the border there. So there's going to be people coming in that, you know, are going to try to pull one by you and just make sure that you're vigilant. And I know you have been in the past, and I'm sure you will be in the future. So.
All right, I'll just make a motion then that we just place this on file for 60 days. You guys have done a great job turning around a bunch of locations. Obviously, this one got through. I know you guys take it seriously. Well aware of, good reputation. So with that, I'll make the motion for just 60 days on file.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Thank you, and I apologize.
Thank you. Thank you. The Whipple Cafe, where's the Whipple? That's last name. Paul. Thank you. Thanks, Frank. Next on the agenda. Introduce yourself for the record.
Good afternoon, Attorney Michael Zane for S&S Liquors, Inc. Mr. Paul Silver is the manager of record, and he's here with me, hiding behind me today.
You read the complaint?
First of all, Mr. Chairman, are you going to recuse yourself from this matter?
Why, because of you?
Yes, I would.
Nah.
I would suggest that you recuse yourself, Mr. Bales.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
All right, I'll recuse myself. This is my son-in-law's brother representing. He doesn't think I can look at this objectively.
No, we are just
In
to even
the
avoid
bad shape that I'm in, I can still outrun him.
to avoid, no doubt,
Okay.
but to avoid just
So-
even the appearance of impropriety is that
I
we have a mutual. My brother is your son-in-law, and we serve on the Crime Stoppers board as
That's
well
right,
together.
too, we do. Excuse
Right, so
me.
I
I forgot
just-
all about that.
I just didn't want to have that even.
That's an honest lawyer.
A lot of honest lawyers in here.
Won't make any representations about those guys from out of town. Okay.
Thank you. I'm here representing S&S Liquors, Inc. Paul Silver is the manager of record and the owner, and has been in charge of the Whipple Cafe, which it is better known as to the public, for the past over 25 years. In that 25-year period, Mr. Silver has never been brought into this hall for any violations by the local license commission. My understanding, and it may just be a Scrivener's error in the agenda today, that has these allegations being of December 18th by a deputy from the superintendent's office. I believe this event occurred on January 28th of 2008. Just for the record, I wanted to correct as to what incident we're talking about. On the agenda, you have it written down as the allegations of December 18th, and I just think that's just a Scrivener's error on that. But for the record, I wanted to clarify that. Okay. I see the Lieutenant Hodgson is here, and I've read Lieutenant Hodgson's report regarding this incident, and we do not dispute for 1 second what happened on the evening of this particular sting. And Mr. Silver, I'd like to just let you know a couple things and what Mr. Silver and his wife have done since the time of the incident to assure this board that they have taken this matter very seriously. The usual bartender, a gentleman by the name of Charles Early, has fallen ill. He's been a long-time bartender at the Whipple Cafe. Whipple Cafe is a small establishment. It is a very local neighborhood-type bar where, much like Cheers, everybody knows your name. On this particular incident night, Mr. Early, due to a lengthy illness, was not able to be there. Mr. Silva, who had been filling in for him, was also unable to be there that night. He relied upon, and this was maybe one of the reasons why I would actually like to have Mr. Bayless here, because he could understand that sometimes when you call upon your son-in-law to do something for you, sometimes the ball get dropped. And that's what happened. Mr. Silva did call upon his son-in-law to fill in for him that evening, an inexperienced bartender. who Norman Lear couldn't have written a more precarious predicament to put Mike Stivic in to call his father-in-law, Archie Bunker, to say, guess what happened? And that's what happened here. Obviously, Mr. Silver got that phone call, and he was none too pleased with the gentleman who presented on behalf of the Lowell Police Department as part of the underage compliance thing that entered the facility, was served by mistake, and he deeply regrets that mistake. Mr. Silver obviously was not happy about that, has rearranged since that time his schedule so that it is either himself, who has over 25 years of experience bartending, or the other bartenders that he do have are tips trained, and the new bartenders who he is hired to replace and fill in for Mr. Early until he returns are also tip certified. We've also initiated a, if you will, a tickler type system where the employees are reminded with either slips in there when they get their paychecks with, make sure you check IDs, these are the proper IDs to take, different things like that, to give them a little bit of a weekly reminder. Also the same thing when they check into work, they get their banks for the night to start the night. In there is also the reminder, Massachusetts IDs only, check IDs. Just a constant reminder to keep them up to snuff, because as an owner, he is aware of what the police are doing, that they're coming out, and he understands the ramifications if it's on him and his livelihood. It has been his livelihood for over 25 years. He understands that tremendously. His wife and himself also attended the course given by the police station, by the police department at the Cross Point Towers recently. Again, finding that very, very informative. We've also taken some steps in conjunction with Mr. Silver and his wife and the employees to essentially run our own type of seminar where we instruct them on what the ramifications are to Mr. Silver, but what they might be to themselves if for something, God forbid, like I said, something did happen in the event somebody was served, someone who was overserved, someone who goes out and either hurts themselves or somebody else, what might happen and what personal liability they may incur, as well as their professional liability and on the corporation themselves. So they've taken this matter very seriously. They do, again, like I said, they do apologize, and we do not dispute the validity of anything that's contained in the report that Lieutenant Hodgson wrote as a result of this incident. Thank you.
No, I think enough has been said on this. Naturally, I'm aware of the organization too, the Whipple, and they do a good job there. It's at some point, sometimes these things do get through.
I was just asking because, I live 2 blocks away, and I've probably gone past your establishment, 500 times in the last 2 years. So, wasn't aware of any problems, but so this is the first I've heard.
I know you run a good business down there, so just keep it up and keep the safe checks going, and keep reminding your employees that they got to check IDs and make sure that everybody's 21 years old, at least.
And I think with such a pretty good established record and understanding that, relying on a son-in-law is kind of sketchy at best. We'll remind Chairman Bayless that he can't rely on his son-in-law per your council's representation, but no. With that, I'll just make a motion. We'll put it on file for 60 days.
Second that motion.
All right, all in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Should we recall the chairman? Or?
He's coming.
Okay.
Okay.
Commissioner will now take up the matter of change of manager for the Pepper Dining, Inc. This is to maintain the same theme the board has been dealing with in the last few minutes on alcohol beverages and licensing. The commission has an application for Pepper Dining, Inc., the licensee, doing business as Chili's, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 24 Reese Avenue, for a change of manager from Janine Mason to Ronald Scott Burrows of Amherst, New Hampshire.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, introduce yourself.
Ronald Burrows, General Manager of Chili's Bar and Grill.
Okay, can you give me a little? That you?
I apologize. It's over there, though.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to get that for you?
Tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. I've been in the restaurant business since I was about 19 years old. I've been a manager at a manager capacity in a restaurant since 1999. I've been a general manager with Spencer Steakhouse in Danbury, which is a kind of a mom and pop steakhouse, and then also with Bennigan's and now Chili's. I am, as you call it, tip certified. We call it, our company calls it, well, we do it through the NRA, so it's serve safe food and serve safe alcohol. And the company spends a ton of money ensuring the training and actually bringing people in, like you say, to basically we do it on our own every month to make sure that, you know, we're not serving underage people. They take our liquor license extremely seriously.
Okay, where have you been manager of record, though? Have you ever been like the manager of record?
Yep. At Bennigan's in Danbury, Connecticut.
Okay.
And I'm sorry?
Anywhere in Massachusetts?
I have been a manager at Westford, at the Chili's in Westford, Mass. I wasn't the general manager. I wasn't on the liquor license.
Okay.
I recently got promoted to general manager, so that's why we're looking for the name change.
Okay, so you've got a good working knowledge.
Absolutely.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Ray?
Look, I don't have much to say other than, I mean, you're aware of the location and the movie theater and the draw of the younger crowd.
Yeah.
But I can also say that I've eaten there and been to the bar section over there, and it's pretty well run. So I'm hoping nothing changes between the last manager and you as far as, you know, how everything operates over there.
Like I said, our company takes it very seriously, and you know, the staff is phenomenal at checking. I mean, our policy is if you're 45 and under, you ask for an ID. So every one of our servers and bartenders have gone through the alcohol training program. So they know that not only is their job in jeopardy if that happens, you know, again, personal liability and criminal punishment can happen as well. So we understand, you know, we're a very busy restaurant. We're actually the 4th busiest Chili's in the Northeast, and a lot of it has to do with the movie theater. We get a lot of crowd from the Cross Point, the building across the street, but a lot from the movie theaters, especially late night. So we do get a pretty good bar push at night, but we don't serve anybody that's underage. It just doesn't happen. We pretty much welcome anyone to come in and, you know, test that out. So
It sounds like you're throwing down the gauntlet for
yeah.
the police department there.
I think, guys, the company obviously does a good job of training the employee, so good luck.
I'll make the motion to approve transfer.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Good luck
All
to you.
set.
Thank you
Still
very
got to
much,
go down
gentlemen.
Okay,
to
it has to go to
Boston.
Boston to be approved.
Okay.
Let's go to the state.
The Alcohol Beverages Control Commission approves it, and I'll let you know when that happens, and I'll send you the new license when that happens.
Thank you very much.
So in the interim, if they come in, the ABCC comes in, they say, who's the manager of record? Who do you
Whoever.
say?
The last guy.
Janine Mason.
Right, exactly. Okay. Yep,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Get that phone, you never know, boy. Maybe an ambulance. Might be calling you an ambulance.
If you'd have told us that ahead of time, we'd have paused the meeting for you to get that phone call.
So watch televisions. Hey, hi.
Mr. Chairman, we have now Mr. Mamadou Gaye is the president of Kodu Inc. He's been required to appear before you. He's operating a jewelry store at 590 Roger Street. known as Design Jewelers, and he has a license for old gold, silver, and platinum, and for secondhand articles for the premises at 590 Roger Street, unit number 3. Mr. Chairman, on February 21st, 2008, we had an applicant application at the regular meeting, and it was filed by Marco Jewelers LLC, doing business as Goldmart, Ahmed E. Metwali, manager, for a license for old gold, silver, platinum for premises at 133 Merrimack Street for the license year commencing May 1, 2007 to expire April 30, 2008. At that time, Mr. Metwali appeared to you and spoke to you on the fact that he was taking over a business that had been granted license to Mr. Gaye for premises at 133 Merrimack Street. Mr. Gaye had, as I claimed before you at that time, had been unresponsive to inquiries and requests of the License Commission. The fact of the matter is that where the licensing board had granted to Kodu Inc., Mr. Gaye's corporation, a license for old gold, silver, and platinum on January 10th, that license had not been issued. Within several weeks, Mr. Gaye called the office, or approached the office, I should say, in person, stated that he did not have interest in the license for 133 Merrimack Street, but he had another person who would be applying for license. At that time, I requested that he make a written notification to the licensing board that he would not take the license and request that they cancel their action. That no communication was never presented. In the meantime, Mr. Metwali had been scheduled to appear before you for a license, and at that point, he made some statements in which you may wish to pursue at this time in regards to his business relationship with Mr. Gaye, as far as taking on a lease that is now under the corporate name Kodu Inc. for premises at 133 Merrimack Street, and that there may have been a business relationship between the two gentlemen, and that Mr. Gaye's business activities at Roger Street may be something you might wish to inquire about. Lastly, I just wanted to let you know I did give you copies of communication that was sent to Mr. Gaye for his appearance.
And he didn't show?
He's here now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let me start off. Who is going to be operating the business on Merrimack Street? All right, Mr. Metwali? Okay. Mr. Gaye, you're going to be continuing on Roger Street?
Yeah.
Okay. But you came into us and you had us vote on granting you a license for 133 Merrimack Street, just not too long ago, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't want that license anymore?
No.
Okay. So as long as we're establishing a public record, are you asking this board to withdraw its vote to grant that license?
I have the letter. I wrote the letter the same day that I came to Ryan. He told me to have to write a letter. So I wrote a letter, and then Mr. Ahmed came to me. I gave him the letter to give it to Ryan. And then somehow he lost the letter.
Okay,
So
we'll take that letter now.
This is the one where,
They were partners and then they broke up and they each took one store.
yeah, they each took
Okay.
one store, but they were getting the lease.
All right, I have in front of me a letter. This is signed by you, Mr. Gaye?
Yes.
Okay. And you want to cancel the licenses that you got from us for gold, silver, platinum, secondhand articles at Gold Mart located at 133 Merrimack Street that was issued to Kodu Inc., correct?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right, with that, I'm going to make the motion to rescind our vote to grant those licenses. The licenses haven't issued, have they, Ryan?
That's right, not issued.
Okay, they haven't issued. I'm going to make the motion then to rescind that vote or to cancel the issuance of those licenses.
I'll second the motion.
All right.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
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 Okay, now we've got that out of the way. Okay, now, Mr. Metwali, you're going to be taking over the lease?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on a second, Mr. A. We're going to still need, he's taking over the lease on 133 Merrimack?
Yes.
And that lease is currently in the name of Kodu?
No, it's no more.
The lease has been transferred over to your name?
Yes.
I got a letter from the landlord. He released him from the obligation to his lease.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get a copy of that.
Yes. And I do get also a lease for the location. And this is the deposit I pay for the rent.
Okay, and it's my,
Also, Mr. Ryan,
Mr. Wynn?
lease obligations.
and this is the landlord, yeah, and these are, if you have any problem, as far as the lease or anything.
This is his legal counsel.
That's what he says.
Okay, so your attorney is actually going to be located right above your store?
Right.
Okay. Works well. All right. Let's keep these all together. All right, and if I recall, the two of you were going to be in business together, but have decided not to be in business together.
Correct.
And rather than being in business together with two stores, you want to be in two separate businesses, each with one store.
Yes.
Okay.
You got me.
Okay. And if I also recall, at our
Yeah.
last meeting, we discussed, you have a background in this business in the state of Maryland, correct? How many years was that again?
13.
Okay, and are you familiar with the filing requirements and photographing requirements for Lowell? Okay.
Keep it all together.
This is the original,
Okay. And have you been, had you worked at the address on Roger Street?
Yes.
Okay. That's,
I used to bring all the application, I don't have no problem.
Chief, we had any issues? No? Okay. All right.
The city doesn't require that they be quarried for that kind of a license.
Okay.
I mean, I just find that, yeah. Is there something that, okay, not that's gonna,
Not you, yeah.
yeah.
I think it has to be revisited citywide, and then maybe compare with the state laws, reflecting what we, city ordinance.
Can we require it without,
I would defer to the law department as to
Yeah.
the propriety of requesting any type of background word. The only exception I can tell you is that in regards to alcohol beverages,
yep,
it is specific and it does allow for query be conducted for applicants for liquor licensing. Because the statute specifically states that for on-premise license application, bars, restaurant, the individuals cannot be convicted of a federal or state drug narcotics law. And in regards to the applicants for package store licenses, they need to have good character, and that's specifically mentioned in the statute. So those prerequisites allow for the licensing board to now do a formal background check and get the permission of the applicants to permit that, which is required and does take place. Each application sent up. The only other provision, I should say, I don't know no other provision in state law where the license commission is involved with licensing that states similar language. And to say that you could now do it is something that a lot of them have to make it.
could we, what, if you had a chance, yes.
It would be my opinion that the License Commission could not independently require a query for something unless there's some authorization in state law to allow for a query.
Yeah, but
I am not sure about whether or not we could, the city could pass an ordinance requiring it separate from state law.
Oh,
I know the ordinance doesn't exist right now.
I guess if that doesn't exist right now, I mean, I wouldn't ask to change the rules mid-stride while we have an application pending.
Oh, no, I'm
But I
not
mean,
saying to affect them, but I
yeah.
find it.
But I mean, it is one
I
thing
rem-
that
I
maybe
remember-
after we wrap up
right.
their issue, I would like to propose that maybe we have the law department look at that for future, for future applications, whether or not, anything that involves, look, I mean, obviously, if you're dealing with, secondhand items, if we're gonna have to be reporting, to the police, we wanna make sure that people who are reporting don't have a list of convictions, for larcenies or for, receiving stolen properties.
I think that's common sense, unfortunately.
is.
As you and I both know, that doesn't always,
But we have
isn't
no way of knowing
necessarily
that right
the.
now.
I know, common sense and the legislature don't always go hand in hand, but we can look into it.
But that's certainly something that
Okay.
we can look into
Okay.
if
All
the
right.
board
All right,
is.
so Go ahead,
we'll go back
you
to
were
this
really
one.
making sense
Well,
of
I
these
was-
two. You're
I
doing
was
all
making
right.
sense of it because I remember we got two people who were in business together who were deciding to each go into their separate businesses at different locations. The last time we met, we didn't want to have two licenses voted to be issued at the same address, which is why we had you come in here and ask on the record to have that one license canceled. So now that we've got two different businesses, you're on a lease, you've got a deposit, you need, or you're requesting to be able to have secondhand gold, silver, platinum, and other items, correct? Okay.
If I may just interject, sorry.
Keep me straight if I'm missing anything. too.
Well, just Mr. Mitwali has not filed application for a secondhand articles license for
Okay.
133 Merrimack Street. Though Mr. Gaye had done so for 133, that is not the case for Mr. Mitwali. All he's applying for is the old gold, silver, and platinum.
Okay. All right. I got that straight. Do you have questions?
No, all I know is I checked with my mother, and she said both of you guys are great. She's done a lot of business with both of you, so I have no problem with them getting a license.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
It makes sense to me.
All right.
And I have, again, I have nothing, I don't want you guys fellas to think for a minute that I have anything against you. It's, to me, I've been here for a number of years, and it's probably only been within the past 3 years, 4 tops, that we've had this many applications for old gold and silver and platinum and you know, secondhand articles, and the marketplace didn't seem to be able to bear it out, and all of a sudden, this seems to have started to become, you know, and I get concerned because obviously, you know, what do you do with stuff that has ill-gotten gains, let's put it that way. You could be perfectly innocent, but the people bringing the stuff into you, you know, you need to be very, very careful and, you know, photo ID and whatnot to be able to prove where they get it from.
See, for the last couple of months, you know, the police officer and, you know, they come to the place, you know, from different district, and we've been cooperating with them, you know, all what we have to do, we take the picture ID and we send the application to the police department, and if they call us, they said, this item is being stolen, they come and they take it. That's all we have to do.
Okay.
And you're out the money that you paid.
That's why I don't,
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes the court, you know, grant some money to us.
Okay, so sometimes the court will order restitution, sometimes they won't.
Yeah, but it takes a while.
But sometimes you're also just absorbing a cost of business. Okay?
Okay?
All right, with that, I'll make the motion to go ahead and grant the license for the, what is it, used gold, silver, platinum to Mr. Mitwali at 133 Merrimack.
I'll second that motion.
All motion made and seconded, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right,
Thank you very
thank
much.
you guys for coming in. We just wanted to straighten it all out on the record, so
No.
we didn't have
He's got
somebody
both his
coming back.
licenses?
No.
He's got his,
His licenses were not issued, which,
Right. Mr. Gaye is doing perfect business at 590 Roger
Right.
Street. He's properly licensed. It was the 133 Merrimack Street location that he intended to
Okay.
take. He's not, never, license were not issued.
right.
which is why we had everybody come back.
Thanks,
Straighten it
guys.
Thank you very much.
So when, Mr. Rana?
Tomorrow, please, would you come by the office tomorrow?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, yeah, I guess, yeah.
The
Since we're on the topic,
precious metal is a valuable commodity these days.
As the economy slows down, luxury items have a tendency to get liquidated, so.
I would like you to look into, when they come into our office and fill out an application at Ryan's office, I mean, they're making an application to this board. I'd like to know why the board couldn't put on there to require that they stipulate that they have to have, you know, give authorization for a quarry.
And the law department will certainly look into it and should have an
If you
answer.
would.
for-
I mean, you know,
I would just feel much better about it. I remember a number of years ago, and Captain DeMoro bailed me out on it. We had a couple of them that were down here on Middlesex Street that were in the second floor of that building. And, you know, you knew that they, you know, they were tough because by the time the police could get to them, you know, at least these fellows are operating on a, you know, ground level, open to the public type idea. But it just seems to me that we're getting more and more applications. Of course, the other day on television this morning, in Brockton, Massachusetts, they had a major bust where a nurse and 4 other people were going into a nursing home to steal a bronze water heater. Now, if you're like me, you would say, what the heck would you do with a bronze water heater? The salvage value of it was almost $4,000.
Mr. Chairman, if I can just interject on the matter of your request of the law department, I think the law department would ask for some type of written communication to that effect, and I would be more than willing and happy to do so. I just think we need to put the parameters on where you think you want to go with this, because certainly precious metal, junk, such as the junk licensees that we have in the city. We also have secondhand article licensees in the city. Commodities they deal with vary in value, but are you looking strictly at that, or are you also looking at other types of licenses that the License Commission grants?
No, I'm looking at I don't know, I mean, I can only speak for what I'm just very concerned about, people losing their jewelry and precious metals and things like that. I'm not looking for, all the licenses.
You wouldn't be interested in used car dealers?
No.
Okay.
No. Would you buy a car from that guy?
Or common vitlers, or
No.
public amusement?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, no, I mean.
No, I think it's like saying to the people, which Brian brought out very well, you're selling hot dogs. Why do you want to put yourself in the arena with alcohol? I mean, you're taking a tremendous, you're selling cars, that's cars. But now you're dealing with jewelry, you're dealing with precious stones, precious metals and stuff. And the problem is that when somebody steals that stuff, the only value they can get out of it is to sell it to somebody. And these guys are a perfect person to sell it to. And I'm not saying that they wouldn't, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they wouldn't, but you're not there, we can't afford to have a policeman there 24/7 to make sure that they report every diamond ring and gold bracelet and necklace and whatnot that's brought in. So I think we need to know that the people that are running these stores,
I think they are supposed to.
Huh?
They are supposed to.
They are supposed to, Brian,
yeah.
but
No, I mean, I
we
think
don't, like,
the concern is just you want to make sure that the people that you're saying, hey, here's a license to go out and collect, all these miscellaneous items. Want to make sure they don't have a history of B&E, history of larceny,
Right.
history of receiving stolen goods.
Right.
The little things
Right.
that, we just want to make sure that, all the stolen property is making its way back into the system, and we're at least,
Right.
getting some matches. as
See if we
opposed
can
to
do it.
Recycling it.
We make a motion, we make the secretary write that letter, he's got nothing better to do.
No, absolutely. I'll second that motion.
Okay, I appreciate that, thank you. And last but not least is that there is several applications, and I would believe that the legal notice will be published in tomorrow's paper for a hearing on March the 27th. First has to do with the Brewery Exchange at 201, 205 Cabot Street. There is a substantial makeover about to take place there at that location.
Okay, I read that, and I remember I spoke to you about it, and one of the questions we definitely, they're gonna have 2 alcohol licenses in the same building.
2 separate premises, though.
2 separate one up, one down. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
And one of them's going to have a movie theater.
No.
No, they're doing
It
away with
says-
the theater.
Okay, but it says 3 rooms for movie theater.
There is a plan that is being revised. The application I've given you copies of. The plan is being revised by the proposed applicant for a beer and wine restaurant license. The corporate name is Slazar, I believe it's pronounced, Brothers Brewing Company, Inc., to do business as Lowell Beer Works. Joseph D. Slazar is the president. He has entered into an agreement with the property owner at the Brewery Exchange, as well as the licensee known as WKA Investments LLC, the Brewery Exchange, Wayne Brasco, manager of the LLC. The Brewery Exchange is proposing that they delete from their licensed premises the first floor of the existing restaurant, as well as the movie theater section, except for the second floor level of the movie theater, all of which would become proposed premises of the beer and wine application for Slazar, which would make that all a area for sale and service of alcohol beverages. There'd be no movie theater at all. The second level of the movie theater portion of the building would become an extension of the Brewery Exchange function area for the second level, which they presently have a full liquor license for.
Right.
And it also includes the existing third floor as well.
And there's nothing illegal about having the two licenses in the same building in the...
So long as there's two separate premises, two separate licensees. The other thing I should point out,
See, that
though, it
could be
has
a
no
problem.
direct, it's not directly involving the licensing board, but they need approval from the Alcohol Beverages Control Commission that the brewing company, Slazar, is going to acquire the use of the actual fermentation brewing portion of the building, apparently that was managed, recently held by Concord Brewery. They need a state license for that, so they're going to be taking that on as well.
Okay.
So for a public hearing on
Yep.
March 27th.
Motion to put it up, if you advertised it already?
Well, I have it scheduled for advertising for tomorrow's paper.
Motion to bring it in.
All right, second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Yep.
Me? In the village.
So that's those first two.
Just before we adjourn, I just wanted to
What's the one on?
commend the Superintendent LaValle and Deputy Superintendent Demore on the program that was put forth last Monday evening. It was very informative, and I think everybody that attended got a lot out of it, so thank you for putting that on. That was great.
Very well done.
I have gotten feedback from some of the license holders, and they've all said good things about it. And several of them have actually indicated that they wanted to do one-on-one training sessions with their own staff. So I think that's, you know, that'll have a good effect. That's- what do we-
Well, Benjamin's away, so,
Oh, wait,
you
don't
know
you have
what?
something on Middle Street here?
What?
Or did we already cover that?
Oh, I'm sorry, and then last but not least is another third application. Middle Street Village Inc. is 9298 Middle Street, is applied for all alcoholic beverage restaurant license. They had originally been the party to a transfer of the license that was under the EVOS name. For 2 years, they had done nothing with the property. They had major renovations to undertake. They had, for some reason, I don't know why, but it had been stalled. Unfortunately, the corporation didn't file a renewal on the license. It was transferred to it last November. By failing to do so, the only option is that they apply for a new license, and that's essentially...
That's the old Pollard's, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
In fact, the premises had included the third and fourth floors, which they don't have as part of their description for this license now, this new license. Apparently, from what I understand, making it accessible, handicapped accessible, is cost prohibitive. It's not practical. So that's just to be the first and second floors.
No.
This isn't the place it's on.
No.
That would
Okay,
also
that
be
being
for
said,
March 27th.
motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Seconded, all in favor? Aye. Aye.